I think public media has a very clear role these days in that it is media for the people, by the people. Because we're a nonprofit, we're not beholden to shareholders, we're not trying to generate a profit, we don't have to worry about corporate influences, we're influenced by the audience. So we do what we think is in the best interest of the audience, we ask the audience what they'd like more of, and we try to give them more of what they want. It's that direct connection to the audience that you really can't find, increasingly can't find in a commercial media venture because there are other forces trying to influence those ventures, but the only force trying to influence public media is the public. And that's what I think makes it so unique and special and why I'm personally attracted to it.
As trust has declined, your public media station is still part of your community. Everyone listens to the radio. Everyone needs their local stations. People are really, and they need to know what's happening all over the state. Nonprofit journalism has to fill the gaps. There are 9 newsrooms all over the state, and those newsrooms can engage with the community engagement journalism, where you really try to discover what people want, need, where are the gaps, and give it to them. I really believe in that mission. I want to be part of that story. And so that's what I'm doing.
Funding for this program was provided by this station and other public television stations.
Trust your audience. I mean, the audience has been with us for 50 years. They know the product, they believe in the product, and they've given before. And now we're just explaining to them that we need them to give more, and we need them to embrace more and share more, and they're doing it. And so I think stay true to your mission, stay true to your audience.
Bombshell out of Washington. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting is shutting down operations. Comes after President Trump signed a bill that took back more than $1 billion in funding.
It's not just Big Bird in big trouble. The final state budget sent to Governor Mike Braun cuts more than $7 million of funding for 17 Indiana public broadcasting stations over the next 2 years.
I'm not going to give numbers, but specific numbers, but to give people an example, stations lost, 10% of their budget to 35% of their budget. You just can't weather that. It's fine. We'll just, we did not have to do any layoffs. So that was really great. We have great leadership here. We have a lot of support in Indianapolis. And people saw what was happening, and major donors too, who always give, to people who'd never given, to people who are like, I'll just give $25 more. They really helped us through that. We're not out of the woods. We are told over and over and over again, like when we lost funding, people really value us. They trust us more than anyone else. They say this, but we are really lucky. We have really great leadership, and we have the network of stations across the state to try to help and share and everything like that. But 2025 was tough.
This is viewer-supported WFYI Indianapolis, where education and fun go hand in hand.
I think it's challenging, but I also think it guarantees we do the best work because we're directly responsive to the people and the organizations who are providing money for us. So the most recent challenge was we used to get a significant amount of money that was the people's money through the government. So people paid taxes and invested in the government, and the government reinvested that money on their behalf. The government has since decided not to give us that money, and the people are saying, well, if it's not going to happen that way, we'll just give it directly to the station. So it just kind of takes the government out of the loop. But what we're seeing is public support is going up because the people really wanted to see public media funded. And if the government's not going to do it for them, they're going to do it themselves. So I kind of think of this as the eye of the hurricane. Like there was the big funding cut, and now we're kind of in this quiet zone, but there's probably something else coming. We're not exactly sure what's still coming. So I think most stations are trying to take, for the next couple of years, try not to do anything drastic, figure out how you can get as much support as you can out of your community, but don't assume that this is where it all is going to land, because we're seeing so much transition in commercial media, networks being bought, merged together, that the environment we're in right now is not the environment we'll be in a couple of years. And so I hope that stations just kind of hold on and embrace their role in the community, but assume that things are going to change again, and it could change in a better way. It could make things even better for the stations if we can just get by for a little bit.
There's a lot of data out there that shows that strong local media where people are consuming it, engaging in it, and all that stuff, consuming it and engaging in it, that is tied directly to other civic health measurements like voting and other people being engaged in activities in their community, like community groups, taking part in helping at their school, going to church. There are all these different health indicators. And when local journalism is used less and less and less and less, or there's less of it to use, and both of those things are happening, all the other factors go down too, including voting.
I mean, the best part of the job is doing something that truly has value for the people. And it really, when it's brought home to me, is when I'm talking to a donor or a audience member who literally is giving you money to do what you do, or is saying how something we've done has changed their life, impacted their family. When you get those real personal stories handed back to you, it just really validates everything we're doing.
We are trying to reach people on the phone. Everyone's after the younger audiences. There's a lot of data that we're not finding them, that we're not reaching them, that they're tuned out, that they don't care, that they're getting news on podcasts from personalities a lot and not from journalists. I mean, I love personality podcasts too, but that's not news, right? And that there's not a lot of understanding or interest or appetite in that. But we have been on multi-platform now, and we really grew our TikTok and Instagram game. And I will say that we don't know how old everybody is there, but the data suggests that a lot of them are younger. As we have done that, our web traffic has just exploded. And I know people aren't clicking through to that, but it's happening at the same time. So are we building, maybe we're trying to figure out what's working, change your resources to have a digital team, or find money to make a digital team, because it doesn't work well, usually, unless you just have a unicorn in your shop. It doesn't work well to just take your people and then have them do more, or just, do you know what I mean?
Republicans in the Indiana House and Senate released their priorities for the 2026 legislative session. I'm Benjamin Thorpe, government reporter for WFYI. Here's a quick recap on what they said.
So we got a grant and we got a digital team. It's 3 people, and they are running our digital stuff. And that was when we had the explosion. So really align resources and develop resources to have a digital game. You have to.
Indiana schools suspended more students after the pandemic than at any point in the prior decade. I'm Lee Gaines. I'm an investigative reporter on WFYI's education desk.
Every 10 years after the census, Indiana lawmakers take on a powerful job, drawing new political maps. These maps decide who votes in which district, and ultimately, who has the best chance of winning elections.
Governor Mike Braun unveiled a state budget proposal that provides nearly $700 million in tax relief, inflationary funding increases for K-12 schools, and enough money to eliminate childcare wait lists.
We've done a number of investigations that really original reporting that nobody else is doing. It's just such a hard thing to do that. It's such an investment. It takes so much time and experience, like journalistic experience, that a lot of small newsrooms aren't able to do that. And I'm just really proud that we've been able to carve out time for our journalists to report investigatively on childcare access to, other education stories, special education, things that have actually made a difference, where lawmakers will, quote our stories in session, so, people, they're pushing people to talk. If we can build on those relationships just to educate people about, like, how do we do journalism? We're not trying to get anyone, we're just trying to share information so people can work together, and that you can make a relationship one-on-one, face-to-face, just a lot easier.
I think the challenge has been the uncertainty, and the thing I'm proudest of is how we've adapted and how resilient our staff has been, and really the whole public media system, how resilient they've been. Because it would have been easy in the midst of the cuts to just fold up shop and say, well, that's it, we lost, we're done. And nobody was going to do that. It was never an option. And I think The day that the congressional rescission was passed, we took the staff all out for drinks and pizza, and we said, you know what, today was not our day, but tomorrow we're going to be back at it. And so let's just take a pause, acknowledge what happened, and then get back at it. And the resiliency of the staff, how immediately they came back the next day and said, we're not done, we're just going to do it differently, and we're just going to plow on. And I think that's what you're seeing in most stations. The advice would be prepared to be flexible, because when I got into this business, you assumed you could have a whole career working in broadcasting. You could start out at a radio or television station and do it for 30 years. That's probably not the way it's going to work going forward. The storytelling is going to be there. The formats are going to change. Where you do it's going to change. So I think if you're flexible, if you're good at your work, you're passionate about the craft, and you're flexible, there's still plenty of opportunity in the space. The world's always going to need storytellers, and they're always going to need trusted storytellers, which is where I think public media still has a strong place to reside.
I think we just really need to collaborate, because right now we are all small. If we can grow together, there's plenty to go around. We can totally do this. We can totally do this. We're gonna win. Because people need each other. You know, they might, we have this, loneliness epidemic, right? It's awful. I mean, but I think by and large, we can get past that. People have named it. People don't want to be lonely. They don't want to not know their neighbors. Not really. I think that we're gonna do it. I think that it just needs faith and patience and trust. I really believe in this country. I really believe in our community. I really believe, we need each other. That's why we're social creatures. And the way to help each other is to know more about each other. And the less we know about each other, the less we're gonna engage in each other or support each other or work together. And so it's mission critical